You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. It's no secret, LSU's single biggest remaining roster need, safety. I've said it, but it's not like I'm some savant. We could run through all the Pro Football Focus grades, but all you need to have is eyes. LSU's weakest position group this year was safety. And they had to go address it in the portal. I've said many times there was no way LSU was kicking off against Clemson next August without adding a safety via the portal. And despite all of the success that LSU has had in this portal cycle, the number one transfer portal class, they had yet to add a safety. It wasn't for a lack of effort. They had gone after the top safety players in the transfer portal. Zechariah Poyser was the guy that they were hard after from Jacksonville State, who landed at Miami. I mean, they have gone, one of the top safety transfers in the country from Purdue. They had thrown their hat in the ring for a lot of these guys, and they just kept coming up empty. Well, LSU now has hit. Tamarcus Cooley from NC State is officially, this is official. He committed, the commitment was announced earlier, but LSU has formally announced it now. Tamarcus Cooley officially a member of the LSU football program, and this is a massive get. It's massive because not only is he a really good player, but he's a really good player at what was your single biggest remaining position of need. I'll go through this a little bit about Cooley's background to kind of catch you up if you're not familiar, and then sort of how he fits and what it means moving forward. So, number one, Cooley coming out of high school was a 3-star. He was ranked number 988 nationally. So he was not a big-time prospect coming out of high school. He signed with Maryland, played in 2 games, so he took a red shirt in 2023. After 1 year at Maryland, he jumps in the transfer portal, lands at NC State. This season at NC State, Tamarcus Cooley ended up playing in all 12 games, had 30 tackles, a sack, an interception, 7 passes defense, forced a couple of fumbles as well, was a really good, impactful player. And he played all over the secondary. On the season, Tamarcus Cooley, again, redshirt freshman, played in 2 games as a freshman at Maryland, took a red shirt, transfers to NC State, plays in every game, played 738 defensive snaps, played 12 games. He left before the bowl game, so he played the 12 regular season games. 738 defensive snaps. For context, if you look at LSU's defensive players, the total number of snaps, two LSU defensive players played 700 snaps. Ashton Stamps, Whit Weeks. That's it. And by the way, Whit played in 701, so without the bowl game, he would not have played in over 700 snaps. He would not have played over 700 snaps. Ashton Stamps would have been the only one. So, I mean, you are talking about a very talented and versatile defensive player. Not only did he play over 700 snaps, 380 came at slot corner. 101 came on the defensive line, 93 more in the box. So he played nearly 200 snaps at the line of scrimmage. Played 39 snaps at free safety. Played wide corner for 7 snaps. They moved him all over the field. So you're talking about a versatile player. But make no mistake, I've been told the LSU staff sees him as a safety. And of course, Sage Ryan is now part of the Ole Miss team, and Major Burns is out of eligibility. Beyond that, you can look at a comparison just of the quality. Like, one of the things that I always say about Pro Football Focus, it's a metric, it's not the metric, it's just something to consider. But let me illustrate the point here for Tamarcus Cooley, okay? So Tamarcus Cooley's Pro Football Focus grades for this season. Remember, if you're in the 70s, like you're a really good player. Like we could all agree Whit Weeks was a really good player for LSU this year. Whit Weeks, his total defensive grade was a 70.9. Okay, so Whit Weeks was a 70.9. The best defensive grade on the team this year was Braden Swinson at an 83. Swinson was an 83. Zai was an 81.2 among your starters here. Okay, Savion Jones was a 75. You got me? Tamarcus Cooley's defensive grade was an 80.8. That grade would have been the third highest on LSU's team behind Braden Swinson, Zai Alexander. His coverage grade was an 81.8. I don't want to bore you with a lot of numbers, but his coverage grade was an 81.8. Major Burns, I'm sorry, his coverage, here you go. The only defender that would have had a higher coverage grade was Zai Alexander at 82. Remember, Cooley was 81. Zai was an 82. Next closest was Sage at 73. You want to talk about the other safeties? I mean, you'd have to go, trying to find it, how low it is. Major Burns' coverage grade was a 55. Jordan Gilbert's coverage grade was a 58. Talking about a guy with a coverage grade of 80. So not only did he play a ton, he played everywhere, played at a high level, and it happens to be your greatest position of need. Listen, I don't know. I'm not telling you definitively that Tamarcus Cooley's coming to LSU. The first defensive snap against Clemson, he's going to be a starter. He's going to be all-SEC, All-American. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is that was your worst position on defense a year ago, like in this season. 2 of your starters are gone. And you can say, well, it's a good thing that they're gone. Well, they were also playing ahead of the guys behind him. So what does that say about the guys behind him? Fair or unfair? It's the reality. So you had to get better. And when I look at safety for next year now with the addition of Tamarcus Cooley, you've got Jordan Gilbert coming back. And again, Gilbert will be back for a 5th season in college. And I think at times Jordan Gilbert played well, but he also was playing with a bum shoulder. It was devastating for his ability to tackle at times this year. I wonder if that's a guy that gets healthy, how much better he can be. I don't know the answer to that. But Deshaun Spears, the game, he's very talented, high ceiling. The game needs to slow down. He'll keep getting better. Javen Toviano, maybe the same thing. Kicking back, playing safety, high upside, we'll see. But now you add Cooley, who you know can be a plug-and-play starter at safety and better than anybody you got right now. You added Mansour Delane as well from Virginia Tech, who is a cornerback. But what if Ashton Stamps and DJ Pickett, guys like that, Jakeem Jackson, end up locking down those cornerback spots? Does Mansour Delane go play safety along with Tamarcus Cooley? Maybe. And you got the young guys I mentioned. And then the wild card as well is, what if you land a transfer? Another transfer. Because I've told you for a while now that LSU, because everybody does, has had third-party conversations with players currently in the college football playoff. And every player has 5 days after their season ends for an extended portal window. And that LSU had sort of, air quotes, silent commits from an offensive tackle and a safety. And if that's the case, then why do you keep pursuing these guys? Because nothing's guaranteed. I mean, I told you a story as well. I've shared this with you. There was an offensive tackle from an SEC school whose rep was very aggressively trying to get LSU's collective, to engage in a sort of an offer or bidding war for that player. And LSU put together an offer for that player as a former 5-star offensive tackle. Well, you'll never hear about it because kid never went in the portal. I think the agent was just playing both sides against the middle to drive up the price. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't know what the intent truly was, if he ever was going to leave that place. But you'll never hear about it because he never entered the portal, never left. So a lot of those conversations are happen third parties independently. And so if you're LSU, maybe that player still goes in the portal and ends up here. And if he does, awesome. But if not, you had to address it. And you did it with a really good player here in Tamarcus Cooley. The only need left for LSU, I would tell you, is offensive tackle. And there's a chance that you could go into next year with what you have and feel pretty good. Because you got Josh Thompson out of the portal from Northwestern, who played tackle and guard at Northwestern. They'd like him at guard, but if he needs to play tackle, he will. Maybe Tyree Adams, Weston Davis, maybe those guys continue to develop and become great players next year. But if you have the opportunity to add a plug-and-play starter, if for nothing else to go compete with your young guys and let the best man win, you do it. Because the portal era allows you to do it. I get asked all the time, how can your young guys ever get experience and become starters if you don't give them a chance? Great question. Go win the job. Go be better than the guy you brought in. But if this era allows you the opportunity or the option to go improve your roster immediately with someone who has played, you do it. And if the younger guys win a job, awesome. The other part about Tamarcus Cooley that is worth noting, he's another one of those guys with multiple years experience. He's got 3 more years of eligibility. So you're talking about a guy who may play 1 year in Baton Rouge. He'd be draft eligible as a redshirt sophomore. But maybe he plays 2 or 3 years in Baton Rouge. So not only have you added a guy that can help you for 2025, but also for 2026 and possibly 2027 as well. Brian Kelly keeps building numbers through the high school ranks, supplementing through the portal, but what you're also seeing now as an addition is getting multi-year portal guys as well to fill the middle of that sandwich from those guys that have transferred out after 1 or 2 years. Told you more than half of the 2023 signing class is already gone. 15 of the 27 you signed are already gone after 2 years. So that young depth is now the roster hole. And adding guys like this fill that roster hole as well. It's a big one for Brian Kelly and the squad. That's 16 portal additions. The number 1 transfer portal class in the country, Tamarcus Cooley out of NC State. The safety is the latest. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.